What is the cost of land, and should you be looking in middle-class neighborhoods in Zambia? Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me as I've been on 9 years in this expat journey. Left the United States and I'm now on my third continent, fourth country, which is Zambia in the southern region of Africa. And one of the things I've started doing is not only sharing some of the goods and bads about being in the country, in case you're looking at moving abroad also, but most importantly, sharing more tips and tricks that I've learned along this 9-year journey. So if you are going to take this journey also, it's going to be a lot smoother and easier for you to transition to your new home. So let's go ahead and get started with today's video. Now, this one actually came from a question, so I want to read the exact question and then I'm going to answer it in the video. It said, tell us about the cost of land, piece of 100 by 100 feet in a middle-class neighborhood, and are resident foreigners eligible for local national Medicare, and are prescription drugs available at a reasonable cost? These are all really great questions. Now, before I answer the first part about the 100 by 100 feet, you have to, if you're coming from the United States, you must get out of that system of measurement and you have to move into the metric system of square meters. I think I said the standard, whatever system we own is, they're using the exact opposite. So they're using kilograms, meters, things of that nature. You're not going to see any properties ever listed square footage. It's going to always be square meter. And the way they do it here in Zambia for plots and land sizes, like 100 meters by 100 meters is 1 acre. So you can do it that way. 50 meters by 50 meters is half an acre. 25 meters by 25 meters will be a quarter of an acre. That's going to be the easiest way for you to actually transition in your mind if you're not used to using the metric system. I still struggle with it on some areas today. And it's just one of those things where not growing up in that system, it just doesn't put a clear image in your head. And so I usually look at the minimum of, I just look at land as far as hectares. Now, as far as middle-class neighborhoods, outside of the United States and maybe the UK and Australia, it doesn't really work that way. You're going to pay premium prices if you're in the capital city. So like if you're in the most developed area, it doesn't matter if it's middle class, lower class, or high class, you're paying more money no matter what. And so here's an example. I'm going to give you different examples of why I tell people and I recommend looking outside of Lusaka, looking at more of the rural areas and even in some of the villages, even if it's far away. And so like here where I'm at in Ibex Meanwood, I saw a sign for a plot that I believe was 20 meters by 40 meters. So less than a quarter of an acre. And they wanted 850,000 kwacha. And so 850,000 kwacha is about 32,868 US dollars. Now that is really expensive for Zambia. Let me just tell you straight up. It's actually really expensive for this southern region of Africa. Really, really expensive. So you can go outside of here and get a 46 meter by 46 meter, which is a little bit of almost half an acre. And that was going for 156,000 kwacha. That's 6,000 US dollars. Do you see the difference in prices? And we only went about a 15 to 20 minute drive outside of Lusaka. So like that is how the prices go here. It's not based off of the class of the actual neighborhood. And so keep that in mind when you're looking at land. Now, the land that I invested in Eastern Province in a village, in an area called Chama, I paid roughly, and I'm gonna put more than I really paid, about $154, and that was for 20 hectares of land, which is 49 acres of land. Do you see what you're getting for your money? And so for me, I'm not looking in Lusaka to buy any type of land. The closest I am looking is the next town over, which is Chongwe. And I'm looking at about 10 hectares of land, and it's going to cost about 850 US dollars if the chief negotiates with me and we settle on the price that I'm looking at. But even outside of that, about 3 hours away from here, I'm looking at land in an area called Mumbai, and that's going to cost about, for 5 hectares, 483 US dollars. So if you really want to get more bang for your buck, you need to look outside of the capital city. And that's just how it's going to be in most of Africa. Like in Johannesburg, the properties in Johannesburg and the land is more expensive than if you go to Eastern Province, or even if you just go outside of Hartbees. I don't know why I have a hard time saying that word, or some of the other areas just outlying Johannesburg. And so that's how it works in this region. And then the second part of your questioning, are resident foreigners eligible for local national medical insurance? Their national medical insurance here is called NEMA, NHIMA. It is one of the best insurance services they have. They do have other services here. They are more costly. For NEMA, I have it as a foreign resident because I have permanent residency. Once you get your national registration card, you can able to register for NEMA. With NEMA, it is a 4-month probation period, but here's the catch to it. It costs you 60 kwacha a month. So that is roughly $2.32 a month in insurance. And for 1 year, you will be paying $27.84. That does cover dental also. With the dental, you do not pay a copay. And so that is really good. You can also get physiotherapy with it. I'm still looking for a chiropractor that takes it. I haven't found one yet, but it doesn't mean there's not one out here that probably does take it. And so the national health and medical insurance here is really, really good. Great service, very affordable. Just be mindful there is a 4-month probation period. And after that, you can just start using it, no problem. And because you don't have copays like in the US, you're saving a lot of money, man. Like $27. Like my copay in the US when I was on, what's the name of that insurance? CC was working for Humana. We were paying about $100 to $200 depending on each doctor visit. It was becoming so expensive, we were cheaper for us to pay out of pocket. So just really be mindful of that when you're looking at insurance and trying to compare insurance abroad. And the other thing with insurance, when it comes to overseas, you are usually getting doctors who are very much professionally trained. They are trained to the standard of some of your best medical doctors in the United States. And because of the way that the training procedures are here, those doctors are a lot better overseas than in the United States. Even your nurses have more training experience than what they do have in the United States. So don't think and don't fall for this. You're going to a third world country thing. That's not true. Like there's really not a such thing as a third world country unless you're talking about a very war torn or a country that has so many sanctions on them. They're being forced to be held back. And so far in this southern region of Africa, I've seen some of the best medical facilities, best medical professionals. And like I say, here in Zambia, I would say about probably 1 out of every 4 women you run into is probably a registered nurse or have some type of nursing experience. So it's really good here. Then are prescription drugs available at a reasonable cost? Yes, there's pharmacies everywhere here. See, a lot of this stuff, and I get these questions because it's coming from a Western system. A lot of those things are not monopolized here as far as about getting more money from you. They actually want people to get better here. And so all of those things come at a very, very much cheaper price. I know everybody's heard about going to Mexico, maybe going to Colombia, going to Thailand and stuff, but Africa has those same things also. And it's a shame that people are not talking about these because these are the things like if you want to become an expat or a nomad, you need to be looking into is where are you going to get good medical facilities? Where is it going to be affordable? You don't want to go to a country where it's going to be so expensive living for any medical issue that happened to where you're one medical bill away or one medical disaster from probably having to go back to your home country because you exhausted all of your savings. And so being able to get into the healthcare system here as a resident is one of the biggest benefits that I've seen in this country that you don't see in other countries. So that means like once you get your NRC here, you don't have to keep using that like stuff like safety wing, travel insurance, nomad insurance, because those things like my nomad insurance for traveling with safety wing, I was paying about $45 US a month. 1 month is covering whole year here. Let me see, it's covering 45. It's almost covering 2 years here. Like 1 month that I was paying for safety wing is covering almost 2 years here. Like, look at the difference and look how you're gonna be able to save money. And so I just hope that was very helpful for you. Want to answer those questions. If you have any more comments or questions, leave them down below. If you're from another country in Africa or abroad, leave information down below that may deal with this. If you know about the healthcare system, land costs, things like that. Oh, speaking of land costs, before I hop off, that is the one thing that is different from the southern region of Africa. And I'm just speaking of the southern region, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, and Zimbabwe. You are actually able to own land in these countries. You have legal rights. It's not like Thailand. It's not like Vietnam, where you have to put it in the name of someone that lives there. I know you can own condos in Thailand, but you're not allowed to own land there. And so it's not a nationalist system down here, meaning you are open, you're welcome with open arms, and you're able to actually be part of the actual country that you're living in. So you have rights here. And I really want to keep stating that, because that is one of the most important things you have to look for when you're actually going abroad besides medical care, is what type of rights are you going to have? And so because you have those rights, you can own land here. Like when I go buy more traditional land, it will be under my NRC inside the village book. That gives me the right to that plots of land that I will be having. And so just remember that if you're thinking about living abroad also. And so, like I said, if you have any more questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll get back to them. And just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.